There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 10 of the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series. Slightly reduced field tonight, probably associated with being a Scops round and the fact that Fuji circuit's not a common circuit that the boys like. That's where we're racing tonight. It's at Fuji, and let's have a quick look at the track while these boys are working their qualifying session. Bang up, and we'll bang up the track map, have a quick look. So it is a 4.56 kilometre track. Nice big long straightaway. On the start finish, straight into the first corner. Aptly named first corner. Then we sweep down the hill through second into Coca-Cola, where we've got to hit the apex right to carry your speed into the famous 100R corner, where we have a radius of 100 degrees straight into the hairpin. Where we ease the car out, come back down through the 300R into Dunlop, and then through the Dunlop chicane. A lot of boys don't like racing the chicane, but we've got that in tonight. Then we come up through the aptly named 13th corner, and then we scoot through 14 in the nets, then around through Panasonic, and then we run all the way down to the start-finish line, where slipstreaming will be very important. Now let's see if we can get some times up at the moment. Have a quick look how these boys are tracking. They got James Chastaniff on track at the moment. He's set the fastest time. James Scott yet to put a time in. As we're saying, this track does have some interesting aspects to it, which we'll definitely see come into play as the boys continue on. And Chasty here looking quite fast. Paul Young's topped him, of course. So I'm expecting some harsh battling between all these guys as we continue through the circuit at the moment. So, of course, the man to beat tonight will be James Scott, who hasn't set a time yet. And Jamie McKnight's jumped into the server. People's champion himself, so it'd be great to see Jamie have a crack in this reduced field. As we continue to have a bit of a look through who else we got. Paul Young, of course, man sitting on pole at the moment. And Warren Davis, his teammate. Sitting in third, Kenneth Ladder, Synergy Sim Racing legend himself. A little bit loose there, smoking it up. Getting into the first corner. Winds it down the hill. And aptly gets a bit of pace going. As comes now around through the 100R corner. You've got to balance the throttle, keep it in good control. Of course, I know Blake Warboy's under the weather tonight, so big shout out to Blake if you are watching, mate. Hope you feel better soon. And yeah, it's definitely a battle and a half, I think, for a few of these boys. It's Damien Johnstone, he's on track as well. Another one of the hard charging Synergy Sim Racing, running in the top 3 in the championship. And Zach McDonald, the young gun from 95 Sim Sport, battling away as well. Of course, if you're watching at home on Discord, you're watching at home, and if you're on Facebook or YouTube, just jump in the chat, say g'day, let us know you're supporting, and we'll make sure I give them plenty of coverage for you. Zach McDonald finishes his lap there, almost getting balked by one of the Banter Alliance cars. Let's jump on now with old-time mate, Christian Smart. So Christian here, he's battling all the way, coming into first corner. See the Synergy Sim Racing outfit, backed by Dr. Epoxy. Shout out to Pete Keller who's watching. Big time big time Synergy Sim Racing fan. As we continue on. And we continue along. As Christian Smart ducks into the pit lane. Have a look. Jamie McKnight's on track, the People's Champion himself. Battling down this fast straightaway. Long, hard under the brakes. Pulls it up into 1R. It's through the first corner. A little bit ginger on the throttle coming out there from the People's Champion. A bit wide, but just keep it on the track before it's the 1X. Whereas round, of course 100R, you've got to balance the throttle. Get around on the brakes into the hairpin. Apex opens up as you come out, gets on the gas nice and early. You're around now through 300R, heading down into Dunlop. Sensational corner. Of course, we're using the chicane tonight, so you don't get to carry the speed through it. You've got to pull her up. Go right, then left, back to right, up to 13th corner. Mount Fuji there in the background. As we come rolling around the corner. As continuing on, back around through Panasonic onto the start-finish straight. And coming down, this is McKnight's lap. Where does this put him? Jumps him up into 7th. All young, still on top of our leaderboard. That's a quicker time, going with a 1:39.278. It's Damien Johnstone, so hopefully he's got an answer for that one. As we've got the halfway point of of qualifying. So continuing along. And continuing around, have a look down the order. Warren Davis doing really well in the 007 entry. Another one of the Banter Alliance cars. Sitting in 4th spot. Only just in front of young Zach McDonald. So let me see what young Zach can do here. Comes through into Panasonic. Up the hill. He's not sending any green sectors here, so I don't think Zach's going to go any quicker. And behind him's James Chastanet. No green sectors here either. The boys battling through for Chris Funky Miller. Christian Smart puts in a green sector. Might just jump on Smarty and see if he can poke his nose up the tree. Coming round. Panasonic now, and then he got them run down the straightaway. See if he can get a quicker time in. Can Chris Smart get another green or a purple sector here? Running down to the line. Chris Smart goes a little bit quicker. Gets himself up into 7th, jumping in front of Mick Knight. While the old teammate jump on with 95 Sim Sports Zach McDonald. Zach sets a purple sector. Here we go. 9.5ers, or a pink sector for the pink car. Of course, Zach, one of the young guys coming through the 9.5 network of drivers. Managed to recruit very well in the off-season, having a serious dip at the Pro Series and Scops this season. 9.5 SimSport team. Let's see what Zach can do. Can he have another green sector or go purple? Can he get himself into P1? Heading down, the clock ticking over. Not quite, but gets himself up to 5th. There's ticked down to less than 6.5 minutes to go. Sorry, Zach McDonald's actually gone in first. Sorry, I misread that. Bit of a delay there in the SDK timing. So Zach McDonald there picks up to the first spot. Great little drive from Zach. Let's see what Paul Young can do. Youngie on an out lap here. It's the clock ticking down. We've only got 6 minutes to go. It's qualifying session. Very interesting to see what he can do here. Young letting Zach McDonald go through, so definitely trying not to get balked on his outlap. Zach, of course, is probably on an in-lap after setting the fastest lap time last time past. Here goes Paul Young. Through the 13th, through neck. Up in the Panasonic, and then here we go. What can Paul Young do? Of course, Damien Johnstone, James Chastanet, Kenneth Latter, and Chris Funky Miller are all out on an outlap as well. Here we go. Night setting some purple green sectors. Paul Young is out lap here. Sorry, on his fast lap. Through the first corner. Nice and smooth. Of course, the Vets driver being very wily. Through the 100R corner. Curb just nicely on it, pulls it up. Gone green, needs to go purple if he wants to take that P1. Can he go purple in the second sector? To Dunlop, to the chicane. Gas, up into 13th. Another green sector. don't think he's going to do enough here to topple Zach McDonald. It's going to be close though, I think. Oh no! That's Youngie out of it. Go back, try again. Of course, with only 3.5 minutes left, he hasn't got long to get that done. Let's see what he can do. We might quickly jump on with Damien Johnstone. It's Damien showing up on my fast time list here. But off the track there, I think might have got a 1X maybe. Have some experience around this place. Got to be very careful of those yellow sausage curbs. Outskirts of these corners, they can do a lot of car damage. I think Damien may have had that. Kenny Ladder with a purple sector now. What can he do crossing the line? Looks like he might have gone a bit quicker. 139.7, so he doesn't move up the order. So, this guy on track, Chris Funky Miller. James Chastity is probably the next person to watch, sitting in third. What can Chastity do? Chastity battles it out here to the chicane. Does have the young Zach McDonald in front of him. Hopefully not going to get in his way. There's Chastity only with the one green sector, going slower in the second sector. Looking for a purple sector in this last section of the track. Hopefully get himself over the line. Chris Smart looks like he might be a bit of an improver back behind him here as well. So keep an eye on these two as we're down to the last minute and a half of quali. Funky gets out of the way. And they're both into the slipstream. Here comes Chastanoof. Chastity with a 139.4 stays in third. Chris Smart with a 141 pumps himself up into seventh. So whether McKnight can get himself back in front of him. So we might just jump back on with Paul Young now. And sitting in second. Are we going to see a first ever pole for Zach McDonald? Going to find out in the next 2 minutes around this place. 2.5 minutes. Young. About to come through Panasonic. Final corner. Put himself under the start-finish straight. See what Youngie can do. Youngie into turn one. Another man to keep an eye on track at the moment is Jamie McKnight. He's just gone into the pit, so Jamie's not going to improve his time. As we tick over the 20-minute mark to finish this qualifying session. I think the man to watch will be this man on screen. Moment, Paul Young. Nicely getting right out onto the outer apex. Through the 100R. Chastity. Ventral line's getting out of his way into the Dunlop chicane. Very stable, looking really good. Another green sector. Has he got what it takes to go purple in this last sector to knock off Zach McDonald for pole? These are the questions being asked at the moment of Paul Young from Banter Alliance. Coming around the final corner, around Panasonic, heading down the long start finish straight away. And 39, I don't think he's got enough. the slipstream and manages. Sorry, he has enough. Paul Young has gone to 131.194. So congratulations to Mr. Paul Young taking pole. Not done yet though. Chastity's still on track. And Chastity going straight for the pit, so he hasn't gone any quicker. And Funky is coming around the final corner. Has he got anything in the tank? On an outlap, so I don't think he's going to get anything in it, according to SDK. DK could be horribly wrong. He's been letting me down by being slow tonight. So, just waiting for the last minute of qualifying the time down. This man on screen, Paul Young, is our provisional pole sitter by the narrowest of margins, 0.076 from Zach McDonald as we jump on to the grid. So the Banter Alliance driver by 0.076. Zach McDonald from
and welcome.
95 Sim Sports, followed by James Chastanuth, Banter Alliance on the second row alongside Synergy Sim Racing's Damien Johnstone. In fifth, we have Warren Davis from Banter Alliance. In sixth, we have Kenny Latta from Synergy Sim Racing with his teammate Christian Smart in seventh on the next row. Alongside Christian is Chris Funky Miller from Quantum Perpeki Performance. And rounding out the rear of the grid, we have Jamie McKnight in ninth from Synergy Sim Racing. So shout out to Jamie. Josh Drage is race control. Richie Barella is a safety car. James Scott didn't set a time, so I'm not sure if he's going to be on the grid tonight or not. We'll find out very shortly. So it's going to let guys get on the grid. Get this race well and truly underway. Start seeing some cars. Here they are. A very small field, not what we're used to seeing here at East Coast. But as we said, not a popular track. Gather. Limp for a minute. A great little circuit in Japan on the foothills of Mount Fuji. Of course, the name Fuji probably comes from that. Golf course right next door. Very picturesque. Has been used for Formula One before. Quite a popular circuit. And should see tonight all these guys on the grid as cars are there now. So we're not too far away. Getting going. The boys are gridding. And here we go. Lights are off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got green flag. We are racing in Fuji. 200-kilometre race tonight. Great start from Paul Young. Gets across in front of Zach McDonald. Zach now coming under pressure from Damien Johnstone. Damien Johnstone, big dive. Clips Young. Goes wide. Young then hits his teammate. And Funky Miller gets hit as well. Paul Young, James Chastanuth, Banter Alliance boys into each other. All started from a bit of a dive from Johnstone. Come back and have a look at that in a minute once the dust starts to settle. But this has allowed Zach McDonald to break away and absolutely take off. And he heads around the track here, doing really well. A little bit loose, gets grip back control. Damien Johnstone pushing up behind him. Kenny Latta. McKnight, the big winner, up 5 spots, sorry. Sitting in fourth. Smart in fifth. Davis has lost a spot as well. So big losers of this first lap has been the Banter Alliance team. And they are well back after such a great qualifying effort from Chastanuth and Young. McDonald starting to settle into this race here. We might go back and have a bit of a look at that turn 1 incident. We'll leave that one up for race control to decide, of course. Has had a little bit to do For Young, you can see John Stone comes from way back, just gets inside. Young gives him room. And a little bit of a tap from McDonald into Chastity. And it's just all gone south there for the Banter Alliance team. A little bit disappointing. And of course, we'll leave that up to race control to sort out. As we jump back on with Zach McDonald, who's managed to get himself out to a 1.3 second gap from John Stone. So that's probably enough just to break the toe there a little bit. As of course, this is lap 2 now, 44. So a fair bit to go here still at this track. And boys definitely would be going through the processes in race control on that one. I would expect some penalties to be incoming. But Zach McDonald definitely settling in here. 2 Synergy, or 3, 4 Synergy sim racing cars behind him. Great little battle here. So we'll see, we'll just go a little bit further back, jump on board with Jamie McKnight. See, he's got Chris Smart, Warren Davis, Bunky Miller behind him. All the boys battling away pretty hard here. Ever so smooth on the throttle, McKnight. Of course, you can see the West End Motor Group banners on Christian Smart's car behind. And you can see the effects of that draft as Smart closes the door. It's right up on behind the bumper there. Oop, it's gone a little wide, gets control, I think. It's a bit of side-by-side action. Right, Chris Smart's not going to get the job done. Of course, great to see those West End Motor Group banners on all of our entries tonight. Of course, West End Motor Group consists of 2 Easy Finance, Parramatta Mazda, Parramatta Isuzu Utes, Parramatta Peugeot Professionals, Parramatta City Haval, and Great Wall Motors, Blacktown Mazda, Blacktown City Haval, and of course, Blacktown Great Wall Motors as well. So if you are in the Sydney in the market for a commercial vehicle or even a personal ride, I highly recommend you give the team at West End Motor Group a call, because I'm sure they can look after you really well. As the race now continues on, and McKnight battling away really hard here, doing a great job in front of Smart. Warren Davis tucked up in behind. See Davis watching this battle here with Smart and McKnight. Of course, those racing vets would be so used to this, would have seen it for a long time. This continues on. See that draft allowing everybody to catch up behind Jamie. Jamie spends the rest of the lap pulling away again. Sounds here, the boys working the car through. Davis looking for a wider line. That's where you got to get it right. Coming into Panasonic. Need to get a good run coming out of here. See how you lose those couple of yards. You don't want to be losing those. It's distance you got to make up again. As you can see, McKnight trying to break that slipstream. Smart, tucked right up in behind. Of course, we've had to change the lead up the front as well. Zach McDonald's just been overtaken by Damien Johnstone. Championship leader. It's battling away nicely here. Young Dave in Facebook asking what happened to Chastity and Youngie. So just the late comer, we might just go back to replay of the turn 1 incident. Damien Johnstone with a large dive, almost gets it complete. A little bit of contact. Chastity into Young. Boys have spun. But that's why the high-placed cars on the grid have dropped back. As continue on Damien Johnstone, he's still pulling out a little bit now on Zach McDonald. Zach's got to try and stay with him. Zach can stay with him here. Use the toe, make the most of the slipstream, save some fuel, get himself right back in this. As battling away, moving along. Of course, these boys have one fast repair at their disposal, 25 incident points. No compulsory, 2 compulsory pit stops they have to do tonight. So we've still got to wait and see how they roll out. A long way to go. 200k race, we're only on lap 6. Definitely pulling away now, 1.3 seconds. He might go back, have a look at this other battle a bit further back. Haven't mentioned this name for a little bit, Kenneth Ladder. Kenneth's definitely pushing up onto young Zach McDonald a little bit. Drop back to that other battle. Chris Smart still in front of McKnight. Gotten past McKnight. McKnight still sitting in 5th, under a lot of pressure from Warren Davis behind. Great little driving effort here from the People's Champion. Car looking very stable and composed, knowing Jamie, saving a lot of fuel. Might just drop back to 8th, the man who's down 7 spots, Paul Young. He's worked his way onto the back of Funky Miller now. Trying to make the most of that. James Chastanee's trying to come with him. Haven't heard of any action from race control. As continuing along. Gaps keep opening and closing, of course. But McKnight now under a lot of pressure from Warren Davis. See Warren right up, trying to get some good drive into 100R corner, 300R corner, sorry. And continuing on. Through the Dunlop chicane. So your fuel strategy at this stage. Definitely be thinking about what you do with it. Definitely be trying to work your way staying in a slipstream if you can. That's what Smart will be thinking about. Sorry, McKnight will be thinking about that, staying in Smart's slipstream, getting that toe down this main straight, use a bit of less fuel. Of course, you got Kenneth Ladder 3 seconds ahead of this group. So definitely some major battles going on. Oh, right up, almost into the back of McKnight from Davis. Whereas, might just jump back on with Chris Funky Miller. Paul Young has gone into pits. Funky here, having a good run, staying in front of Chastity. Great looking livery on the Becky Performance entry. A little bit loose, Funky. It's going to open the door up maybe for Miller coming into the Dunlop chicane. Closes the gap, not going to get it done. Lives for another day. And let's jump back up front. Damien Johnstone, Zach McDonald's fought his way back now. Paul Young still in the pits. Been there a while. Not sure what's going on with Youngie. Shout out to Sean Mack, the chat, watching as well. Young Zach, qualified really well. Started on the front row. Led for a little bit. And battling really hard with championship leader Damien Johnstone.
Drive through penalty car 033 for lap 1, turn 1 incident.
Oh, and there you go. Johnstone gets the penalty for that lap 1 incident. So that's going to open the door up now for Zach McDonald. Hopefully been sitting here getting a bit of fuel saving while he's been behind the Synergy Sim Racing 333. Sorry, 033. So you can see where that'll put John Stone after he comes out of the pits. Paul Young back on track. So he's back after that pit stop. Well, but John Stone now with the black flag. Was a late dive, almost got away with it though. A little bit unlucky, but a little bit unlucky of course for the guys that ended up in that incident. The old big lunge. Go 0 to 0 very quick. And what does Damien do? Does he come in this lap? Try and run it a couple more, try and stretch the lead out a bit more on the guys behind. Looks like he's going the pit lane this time by. So, new race leader, Zach McDonald. John Stone with the drive-through. Let's keep an eye on where he comes out. What's the long pit lane to drive through at this place? Stone still rolling backwards. And does he come out in front of Chastity is the question. Might just jump back on with Chastity. Chastity not through Panasonic yet. John Stone rolling out, so I'd say he'll still be in front. So we'll jump back on with our old mate, the People's Champion, Jamie McKnight. Still battling away with Chris Smart and Warren Davis. Great to see these two protagonists in Smart and McKnight still going toe-to-toe. The ex-Veterans driver, Warren Davis, holding his own against some of the Split One boys. Great to see. As we continue on. Oh, a little bit loose there for McKnight. That going to cost him speed? Probably not. Has it damaged his tyres? Possibly. It's continuing along. Dave's looking a little bit racy now. Davis having a bit of a look here. Comes up alongside. Goes the shallow line. And overcooks it. And into the gravel. Keeps it off the wall. That's going to cost him a fair bit of time. Allows Funky to get back up behind him. But say bye-bye to McKnight. That battle's over. Jump back up to this one now. Chris Smart's caught up to the back of Kenneth Ladder. As we reach quarter race distance. There's still a long way to go. These boys still got to do 2 pit stops. Zach McDonald, 3.8 seconds up the road from these guys. Young 9.5 Sim Sports driver. Doing really well. Field continues to spread out. Paul Young still circulating, back in 9th. But he has been into the pits, pitted on lap 7. He would have probably got some fast repairs done after that lap 1 incident. James Chastney's also pitted now. Well, he pitted on lap 8. Let's just see how their recovery strategy plays out for them later on. As Kenneth Ladder and Zach, Smart Ladder. As Smart's going to work his way through here on Ladder, I think. Great drive from Christian. Of course, keep talking about these old boys being vets drivers. You can't forget too that Kenneth Ladder's now a vets driver as well. Performing very well last season. Split 1. Knight's starting to catch up here a little bit as well, which is interesting. Pulled away from Davis, of course, who's drove himself off the track. And we might just quickly jump into an ad from one of our sponsors.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.
Ladder, trying to get back on level terms here with Christian Smart. Christian is having his eyes forward, thinking of Zach McDonald, who's 4.5 seconds up the road. Definitely cracking little battle between these two boys. Kenneth looking like his tyres might be hurting a little bit. And you can see how Jamie goes. Jump back up. Zach McDonald still 2.2 seconds ahead of Christian Smart. Great drive here from the 9.5 Sim Sports youngster. Looking very composed. Very much in control. He's battling away nicely. Now looking very stable. Tyres looking really good. Settling in for a long stint. Of course, following along at home, make sure you jump in the YouTube chat or the Facebook chat and let us know who you're supporting. Try and get as much information on them as we can. Of course, the field's starting to spread out a little bit here after 14 laps. It looks like Zach McDonald's going to peel off and pit. Keep an eye and come Smart. Knight keeps going, so does Ladder. Starting to see some of the strategies play out here. As we continue on. Kenneth Ladder now. Keeping an eye on where McDonald comes out. And we've got Reg James jumping to join me. How are you, Reg?
Yeah, good. Join yourself, mate.
Not too bad. A little bit of a small field tonight, but starting to roll into some pit strategies.
Definitely a little bit interesting with the handful of cars that are out on track.
And still, with a very small field, managed to have a very interesting turn one on lap one.
Mate, that was it was pretty special.
Yeah, a little bit ambitious.
I think there was a big domino effect in that one.
Yeah, always is.
And it's again one of those tracks where something very, very little.
Yeah.
So many people, especially on lap one, turn one.
So about to see Ladder dive in. Does McKnight follow? Yes. What about Davis?
Yep.
Davis is in as well. Damien Johnstone.
About right.
Damien, of course, he had the drive-through from that turn one incident. And
Going to stay out?
Going to stay out. That's probably going along to try and recover. Of course, Chasty involved as a victim in that incident. He's already pitted on lap 8. We'll just see how these guys all start to peel back out. And Christian Smart was the last of our late stoppers. So Chasty has done well to fight his way back up a bit.
Chasty pitting in 8 at lap 8 may actually work for him here.
There. He'll have to go long though, second and third stint, so that's the only downfall.
Not a bad track to have to do a long stint on. There's obviously a little bit of tyre wear to think about, but it's not as harsh as some tracks.
Yeah, you're not overly driving the tyres.
No,
And I think especially doing the chicane as well, you're not really smacking it through Dunlop when you run the no chicane layout.
yeah, it's a lot of sweeping, so you know you generate a little bit, but I don't think you're going to chew the tyres bad enough to go, you know what, I can't do that long stint.
Was Damien Johnstone still to pit? So you see how he goes, the other spectrum. So
Boy, is he the only one not to pit now?
he's the only one not to pit. So of course Chastity went in on lap 8, Smart McDonald on lap 14, Davis on 15. Miller went on 11, he took the earlier line. Then Young went lap 7. McKnight and Ladder have also pitted on 15. So
You'd be feeling pretty good if you're in Chastity's car at the moment.
yeah. It's been asked what happened to Kenneth Ladder. Macca, I'm not 100% certain actually. I think he had an off track, I knew that much. We'll have a quick look on the replay. I didn't think he did that much damage to himself.
Squirrely on the grass, but
no, I'm not 100% certain where he fell away. He was struggling a little bit for pace with his tyres, so it could have been just trying to long stint it out. And let's go back to live pictures.
Did he have an issue with his pit stop?
Yeah, it's the other one I'm trying to look up now. Let's just go to
fair distance back, so
like that. Let's go back to pit time.
Pretty easy to get caught up
lap.
in the entrance here too.
Yeah, that's where it is. Minute 23. So I'd say he must have got a pit lane penalty.
Yeah.
There on lap 15. So that's probably hurt him as well.
Pit lane's bad enough on this track without having to deal with a penalty.
Yeah.
Loose there. Trying to wring what he can out of the car still.
And young little David from Adelaide said to congratulate Reds James on winning the Vet Split 3 championship. Well deserved.
From that country town in South Australia.
Yeah, that one.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Actually looking forward to the challenge of jumping back up to split 2 now and getting used to the drivers again and having a bit of fun.
Yes. Definitely some challenges there. I'll plot that later. As continuing on. I might just jump back. A little bit of a battle here of Zach McDonald still. Warren Davis behind him. Christian Smart in front.
Davis looking racy there.
Very racy. Donald, though, I think, should have the answers for him. Maybe not.
Big move.
Too wide into Dunlop chicane. Gets it done. Not quite. Donald says no.
Good vision from both drivers, and that could have ended ugly.
You can definitely see the coaching that's been gone into young Zach from Macca and the boys.
You love it when it's close racing and there's a little bit of racing room and they try and go 2 and 3 wide and actually make it work.
Yeah.
I suppose, you know, we've all seen and been on the receiving end of those that don't work, so it's always nice when one does work.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Not over yet. Far from it. Nicely defends the inside line though.
Yeah, I think it's...
Donald's got him though.
Oh.
Wateron's got him, sorry. Trying to come back. This is great driving.
Oh.
Great driving from both of them.
If he can stay up alongside of him, he might keep this going to the next turn.
Yep, nice driving from both boys.
Great stuff. Bit wide from Warren there. Looks like give it back pretty quick.
Zach's fished himself out wide too.
Be interested to see after seeing that for the last lap or so, will Warren pull out a gap now? Did he have genuine pace against him, or was he just tucked in behind him with enough to give him a sniff?
Well, the gap's already out to 0.6. But, you know, as you know from this circuit, that slipstream on that straightaway is huge.
Absolutely.
Just stay in touch, you get dragged up to him every time.
It's where he pans out coming into that last corner after going through this back section that he'll tell the tale.
Of course, big shout out to Mark Duggan. Of course, he normally jumps in with me. He was raced home from a 2-week holiday to realise his computer wanted to do 101 updates, and decided to say, your headphone's not working anymore. So,
Awesome.
feel for you, Mark. Anyway,
Absolutely.
back for next week, which will be good. Thanks for jumping in, Reg.
Oh, that's all right, mate. I'm pretty sure by next week everybody will be glad to see the back end of me anyway, so.
So, Macca saying that maybe Warren is short field. Let's have a quick look. We can have a look at some of those figures. Jump onto the pit time. So, Davis only pitted for 10 seconds, where McDonald pitted for 20 seconds. So there is a bit of fuel difference there.
It's an interesting strategy from that.
Chastaneth was only 13 seconds as well, so they short filled very early. That's how Chastity managed to get himself back up into the battle.
2 compulsory stops, so you can get away with that. That one short and then run 2 longer stints.
Yeah. And John's
Christian's been in the pits.
Christian. Right, Smarty. Smarty was in for 18 seconds, so that's more balanced. John Sanders, a lot of the boys are out doing scops, hence the smaller field. Hopefully next week they'll all be back. I know Harrison Dengate's gone off to do scops practice, and War Boys is not well, and Brady Baldwin has a dirt track league starting tomorrow night, so he wanted to make sure everything was okay for his first round of that. So I know where a few of the boys are.
Fair enough, too.
Chastity now starting to come under a little bit of pressure from Christian Smart.
Chastity will be hoping that Wazza can jump up on the back of Smarty and give him something else to think about.
Of course, Smarty, he'd just be playing it cool. Wise old head on Christian's shoulders. So, big Chastity. Jump on board from it. So look, see how hard he's pushing it. The Dunlop chicane. I know when we've come here with vets before, we didn't do the chicane, which makes this that Dunlop corner then just becomes awesome as you drop through it in 3rd gear. Might just jump cockpit view. Right on for a lap with James Chastaneuf. iRacing's version of the new helmet cam that Supercar like to run.
Big braking zone here.
Yeah. Got to get it right.
Get it wrong.
Macca making the call. It's going to be game on between Zach and Christian for fuel. I have to probably agree with you there, Macca. course, don't forget to, Season 6 registrations are now open for the East Coast Series. Nice and smooth work here from Chastaneuf. He's over driving the car. That small gap behind him is smart.
It certainly looks like he's got a plan and he's sticking to it.
Mm. Of course, after that lap 1, turn 1 incident, it'd be plan B or C that he'd be running.
I would say so. There'll be a few of them like that.
Mm. But the ability to be able to think on the fly, an asset in iRacing. Yeah, it's a great little lap there. Still see the Smarties there, still hanging on.
Yeah, they closed it up by about 3/10.
It looks like Warren's closed up a little bit on these two as well.
Now,
Smart. Here we go.
It's null and void. It's almost like you let him through. I was going to say, if you're smart, would he be here? Do you
Have a crack.
Do you have a crack, or? He's answered the question before I even got a chance to ask it. Yeah, does Chasty tuck up in behind and just try and fuel save a little?
That's pretty much what he has to do.
Was it closes the gap? Is there team orders? So many questions, John.
It is. It is. I know the Synergy Sim Racing boys don't run team orders. I know about the Banter Alliance team. Very, very close quarters information comes out of that place.
Yep.
But
before the merger that combined them, there were no team orders.
bit loose there from Chassis. Most places don't run team orders. I think, there is a team order, just don't kill each other.
Well, that's it, yeah. But, you know, if you want to race, well, my philosophy was if you want to race, don't take each other out doing it.
Mm. So, here we are, 24 now, 20 laps to go. Top 4 cars have cleared out by a huge portion. Damien Johnstone, Chris Miller a bit further back. Here comes Chastaneuf again. Quiet, having a bit of a look though.
Yeah, I don't know, Chasty, I'd be sitting back and just enjoying that slipstream just a little bit. But then again, I don't know where his fuel numbers are at, so...
Looking after those tyres, he wouldn't be too far from the end of his stint, I would think.
Yeah.
He did only put in 13 seconds worth, I think. Let me double check that.
He'd be probably staring down the barrel of 28, 30.
Yeah.
That's a bit... You would think.
Well, he did go in on lap 8. Only 13, so yeah, I'd probably say he'd be looking probably about lap 30.
Yeah, which is ideal. You know, if you're going to go 8 in the first, 24 in the second, thereabouts.
Just wonder whether those 13 seconds is enough fuel to do that. Anyway, all will be revealed shortly.
It's a great battle to watch, though.
Oh,
Gotta love
absolutely.
the 4 cars, you know, within a second and a half, 2 seconds of each other.
Of course, all these boys driving very neatly. Passy with 2 off tracks, Warren with 1, Butter with 2. Good battling. I just keep an eye on though. Christian Smart, Chasty's still hanging around.
Warren's
Davis is there.
Definitely close that gap.
Yeah. Don't underestimate Zach McDonald either. We're just settling in for the middle phase of this race. Look after the car. Could be.
Get down to the last 3 or 4 laps, and if they're sort of in and around this position, there'd be some big calls.
Definitely be some fireworks. Whereas
I tell you what, our mate Dave from Country Town Adelaide, he'd be loving those white wheels.
little Dave. God bless him. So, Zach McDonald still hanging on to the back of this group. He hasn't lost touch. Only about 1.3 seconds back. Davis is about a second back. Chastity's about a second back. They're all level pegging.
Yeah, they've all sort of dropped to about a second apart from each other.
Mm.
They're closing that up on the straight, obviously.
Definitely closing a little bit. Definitely starting to get very interesting, this race. A young Zach McDonald sitting at the back of these boys. Sleedall in front of him. About 1.5 seconds back.
Just keep racing your own race at that point. The opportunity strikes. You hit it hard. Sometimes you can get lucky and a couple of others will make that decision a little easier for you, but you know, 3 seconds from the leader, you're a hell of a chance any way you look at it.
That's right. Only 18 laps to go, still a fair distance.
It is, especially when there's still a round of pit stops.
And we know some of them did take a bit more fuel in their first pit stop, so.
Yeah, so a little bit more around the second.
A big thank you to some of our sponsors: Vehicle Finance Solutions, Cool Guys, Supercheap Auto, Roller Cabinets, West End Motor Group. They're our sponsors. We can't run a series like that. And there we go. The dice has been rolled. Davis is in first. It's Davis.
Didn't expect that.
No, I didn't expect that either.
Come for the undercut.
Definitely looking for it. That's going to make life very interesting.
Are they coming up to a back marker or?
I don't believe so.
No, just
Nearest back marker is going through coming into Dunlop now, so of course that's Kenneth Ladder, so that's miles in front of him.
just a pixelation in my screen.
Yeah. A roll of the dice.
Could have sworn I saw another car there.
Roll of the dice here. I think you might be on the money thinking going the undercut. Doesn't hurt to try something different.
You've got to. You know, you can't just keep circulating around doing the same things and hoping somebody will make a mistake this far out. You know, give yourself every opportunity. Worst case scenario is you come out in the same spot, and then you try and make the big decisions to close the gap another way.
Exactly it. As Paul Young now goes into the pits as well. For the back day.
Yeah, a bit of a rest to forget for Youngie. Put himself on the front row, but yeah, it just didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah. We're still circulating, that's how you get points.
Absolutely.
The small field, as we're seeing Chastanuth and McDonald roll into the pits. What do you do if you're Chris Smart now? Do you come in next lap by to try and cover these guys, or do you stick to your strategy?
I think, 15 laps to go at the end of this one. I think you've got to be planning on coming in and try and cover those guys. I know there's plenty of clear air there, but I suppose it depends on the first 2 sectors of this lap. If you can put in quick times, you might go, you know what, I'm feeling comfortable, I'm in a rhythm. obviously any mistake and you go, right, I'm going to pit, but
That wasn't very stable. Of course, we'll have a quick look where Zach's come out after the second stop. So he's going to come out just in front of the hard charging Jamie McKnight, who hasn't had his second stop yet. Jamie going to make the most of having
I'm
warm
going to say,
tyres.
let him through.
Of course, Jamie's going to battle his way around everywhere.
I say Zach just needs to pick his battle here. He's not racing against Jamie. Jamie's still got to pit. Don't put yourself out of the race.
Just tuck in behind, wait for that main straight. As close as you can coming out of Panasonic. With the new tyres, you'll get more grip and you'll be passing before you get into the braking zone.
Jamie's done this 1,000 times. He knows.
Yeah.
He's just got to keep the car in the right spot for himself.
Yep.
He knows who he's racing against as well.
Yeah. Hence the reason he didn't battle it into Dunlop. Zach looking settled now, getting himself going. Might jump up forward. Here's Funky Miller, another one who still has to have his second stop, but he's having a good little battle here with Chasty. Great to see the Quantum Peaky Performance racing car getting around. Was supposed to be joining this season with teammate Scotty Van Loon, but Scotty, of course, suffering badly from an infection from a tattoo during his holiday at Bali at Christmas time, and took him a long time to get back into the sim.
That's going to bite.
Yeah. Well, to get home to Australia, to be honest, apparently. And jump back up the front. Chris Smart still has to make this stop. Thought he might have gone last lap, but he's gone one more.
Did Warren have a long stop? Because he's like 6 seconds back from Jamie. That put him 8 seconds behind Zach.
Where are we?
That's a long time.
19 seconds is his last stop on lap. Yeah, he's only 19 seconds. Jamie's still to stop though.
Yeah, but you know, when you compare him to Zach, who is, you know, only a second adrift. Christian in the pits.
Yep.
That's I don't know, maybe there's an off track there somewhere or slow down.
Not sure. Have a quick look, of course. Only 9 litres went in. So Chasty doing very well on the fuel. Chris Miller in for 30 seconds on his first stop. So he'll go a long way. Still. There. Backer agreeing with his short field stop. Low sitting here. Jump back on with Chasty. Chasty is going to make it all pay here. This probably went a little bit too long.
Yeah, it's cost him.
It's continuing on. 14 laps to go. And our race leader, of course, with the big Bay 21 coffee logo on the bonnet, is James Chastanet from Banter Alliance. And he's up 2 spots. The man behind him, still yet to pit, Chris Funky Miller, getting a bit of airtime for the Pecky Performance Racing team. And of course, he has the hard charging 95 Sim Sports, Zach McDonald, sitting behind him. So Zach,
probably the big winner out of that pit stop.
yeah. Nice to getting a bit of a tow now from Funky Miller. Of course, a little bit further back, you can see McKnight, Davis, Christian Smart's all the way back in 6th.
Jamie's still got a pit a second time as well, yeah?
Yep. Jamie's still got a pit. Miller's got a pit, and Ladder's got a pit a second time. See McDonald here. Gets up on the back of
Miller's in a pit.
Yep. So loses the free ride in the slipstream.
I've been thinking, come on, just one more lap. Stay up one more lap.
And see in the background there, Smart trying to use a bit of slipstream as well. So we now have James Chastaneuf, Zach McDonald, Warren Davis sitting in third, Christian Smart in fourth. Everyone has had their 2 compulsory pit stops. Name we haven't mentioned since the start of the race. Got a fair mention in the first couple of laps. Is Damien Johnstone. He's fought his way back up to 5th. So he's done really well. And Paul Young, of course, he's back up into 6th. So these boys battling away quite well. McKnight's got himself into 8th. So they're battling their way back up to the front. But of course, Chasty's up 2 spots at the moment. Got a nice 5-second interval. The hard charging young Jack McDonald behind him, trying to close that interval down. There's still time. It's 13 laps.
But you got to be thinking with the pit stops out the way now. It's probably Chasty's to lose.
The Chasty, yeah.
But Zach can put the pressure on, which is great. But geez, when you're looking at how they were racing those laps previously, 5 seconds is a big amount to catch up.
Yeah, I still think Chasty's short field might have short filled it a little bit. He's a little bit under 10 seconds. I would have probably thought he would have been looking for about 13 or 14 seconds of fuel.
Keep an eye on that gap at 5.5 seconds. I reckon in about 6 or 7 laps we'll know.
Yep.
You just want to hope you've got enough to get home. Splash and dash will kill you here.
Long, slow pit lane. Of course, short, small field. You've got no friends out there. Nearest car on track. Out on the main straight now. Of course, is Jamie McKnight. That all will be revealed shortly. No safety cars tonight so far, which is what's to be expected at an open circuit like this.
Tell you what, it must have been close on lap 1.
Everyone got rolling pretty easily, which was good.
Just, I look back at the replay of that and geez, that could have ended up so much different.
Oh, it could have. It could have.
It could have been a 4-car race.
Yeah, exactly. It's
one of those nights where I'm glad I'm not in the car.
It's a quiet night, and I love saying the word Supercheap Auto Replay. Let's have a look at it
Why
again.
wouldn't you?
Might actually go one more time.
Oof.
And we're going to go, if I can get this quickly, go cockpit of Paul. Whoops. Hello. Oh, bang.
The terrible feeling.
Oh, it is.
Terrible
It is.
feeling.
It's lucky we don't get onboard commentary.
Is that Chastity off to the side there?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
That's a drive back.
been a great recovery from Chastity. As we battle
Right.
on.
Don't wish that on any competitors.
No,
know,
you don't.
You'd rather beat them on track fair and square than have them disappear like that off to the side.
Yeah, you don't want that shit. Oops, yeah, stuff, sorry.
That stuff.
That stuff. That's what I said.
Yep. We'll edit that.
11 laps to go. Chastity's increased that gap a little bit from McDonald. About the 6 seconds now.
Obviously not worried about fuel just yet.
No, not worried at all. So battling away here. Everyone's fairly well spread out as well. I think 6 seconds back to McDonald, of course. Then we have
So
another.
if you're sitting in Zach's position, what are you thinking, John? You know
Oh,
where the gaps were.
yeah.
You got to be thinking short field to be that far in front.
You'd be thinking that, and then I think you'd also be thinking, look, I've just got to stick with what my plan is here and hope. But probably say to yourself, I'll go 5 more, and then I'll see how much I can push it.
It's a lonely time there when you're looking at 6 seconds either side.
Oh, it's very boring.
That's when you start to fade away.
Yeah,
Your mind wanders.
concentration becomes key. Situational awareness is really important in these situations.
You'd rather have somebody a second and a half off your bumper, at least keeping you focused.
Usually in vets, when you get into the situation, you've got lap traffic around you. You know, and if you're lucky enough, you'll come up behind someone who you know is quick and out of place, and you can just nicely sit with them and get the job done.
And you know who they are, you know what they're going to do.
So, yeah,
You know what they're capable of.
yeah, we're sort of,
Simply.
when you get in these situations where it's 6 up the road and 6 back, you're going, yeah, okay.
You're in no man's land.
So, yeah,
You'd like to hope that he's got somebody on there spotting for him, just trying to keep his focus.
well, hopefully Sean is in Facebook there, might be able to tell us someone's spotting for him. I'm assuming Sean might be. Hopefully.
You really need it if
Yeah.
you're going to be sort of sitting that far back. You just want somebody there, you know.
Just watching the lap times. And just keeping you focused and getting you where you want to be.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Hmm.
You know, whether it's 3 seconds, 6 seconds, 12 seconds.
And the annoying part about this circuit as well is you get this long straightaway. You actually see how far ahead they are.
Yeah. And you go pop down for a drink or
Yeah.
have a scratch. Adjust the headphones. And it's so easy to lose concentration before you know it, you've missed your brake marker by, just a midget. And you're done.
Particularly coming into turn 1.
Yeah, yeah.
This gap's not getting any smaller. I think the smallest gap we've got on track at the moment, I believe,
Davis to
is
Johnson.
Davis to Johnston. Oh,
Sorry,
Davis to
Chris.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah, Davis to Smart.
So battling away.
Davis with FK on the bottom. Do we know what that is?
Nope, I don't think so. Try something to see if we get a look at it. Frosty's
I'll dig it.
Kitchens.
Frosty's Kitchen.
Sounds a bit cold to me. Oh, a bit loose there going into Dunlop.
That might be where he gets his morning coffee on his way to work. Frosty's Kitchen.
And of course, jump back up front. That gap still holding at about 6.5 seconds. Chastity's on for a win here, I think. It's going to be hard to beat him.
Yeah, still 8 to go though, John. Anything's possible. I don't reckon you're going to know if Chastity's going to have to fuel save until he gets to about 38, 39. And of course, Chastity in the same spot as Zach, he's got that gap behind. You don't have anybody pressuring you. Sometimes that's easier, but it can be lonely when you're out there in front. You know full well that, you start second guessing your braking markers and you've really only got yourself to worry about, so.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a mental game at the moment for a few of these boys.
Absolutely.
But the best bit about this circuit, 6 seconds, you've got enough room to have a reasonable spin, make a reasonable mistake, collect it, and still stay in front.
Yep.
It's not like a Belle Isle or, heaven forbid, Chicago, yeah. I've got a race meeting coming up there in the NTE series at Chicago, and I'm just dreading doing that field that we race with in that. Sandown.
Crazy track. Crazy track.
did Sandown in the NTE series last week, and that was crazy. I've never been in a. It's been a long time since I've been in a race like that, where it was just contact all around you.
And you know, Sandown's got plenty of open space.
Mm.
You know, put that in a concrete tunnel, and it suddenly becomes a very short race if things don't go your way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Anyway, as we start getting these winding stages, we might take a quick chance just to throw up a little ad break from Supercheap Auto.
There's no arguing that people love their cars,
We weren't arguing.
and people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, and that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.
Yes, of course. Big thank you to our sponsors that we have in the series, Pool Guys, Supercheap Auto, Gorilla Cabinets, Vehicle Finance Solutions, West End Motor Group. Of course, if you haven't already, jump on and have a look at the hashtag Bin the Blade for Balin as well. As we now start coming into what will be the closing part of this race, it's Chastney out to a 7-second lead. He's done really well, Chastney.
Yeah.
Zach McDonald's got himself nearly 8 seconds up the road from Smart. Smart's 3 seconds up the road from Davis, 7 down the Johnstone. Youngie 15, then McKnight all the way down in the back in 7th place.
And Chris and Gareth both done for the night.
Yes, couple of boys parked up. And young David from the country town in South Australia called Adelaide says the Pool Guys are awesome. He can speak from personal experience.
I didn't realise that they come out and did puddles, Dave.
As what just
I
jumped
thought
up.
Dave might have jumped up and joined you in here for a little while as well. Kick off his commentating career.
Chastity battling away by himself. All
But
happening.
the gap just keeps getting bigger.
Mm,
He's in a rhythm.
yep. Obviously not having too much fuel concerns. Might jump on and just listen and see if he is trying to save any anyway. You'd have to be. No, definitely not fuel saving.
Now that's pretty good effort.
Mm. The P on the track map is if he pits. Where would he come out? Definitely not a fan of the chicane.
No. No. Does add that layer of complexity to the track though.
Hmm.
You can see why it's there.
Of course, the Spanish Grand Prix the taking away the chicane
Yes.
at the end of Barcelona, which I'm a little
Yeah,
bit
I don't-
excited about.
That's going to make for some quick exits.
Yeah, but I think it's also going to make for the ability to be able to maybe attack a bit more at the end of the main straight.
Yeah, possibly.
Be able to carry a little bit more car speed through the final corner.
If you can get that exit right, it could be worth a couple of tenths.
Mm.
Sure.
Mm. And it's going to feel a bit more historic.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, the younger generation so used to Herman Tickler circuits. Remember the old Silverstone when it used to basically be about 10 corners, 6 corners, 10 or 8 corners.
That's going back a bit.
Yeah.
Didn't quite have the same technology in the cars as they do today, though.
No, I think the drivers had bigger testicles.
Yep. The cockpit was definitely bigger to accommodate for it.
Yeah. And the speeds you were carrying through things like maggots and Beckett's. And those cars were scary.
Yeah, yeah. All that power and not a lot of grip, so.
Mm. Chassis looking very well balanced here. As he heads into what will be the start of the 41st lap. Great recovery.
Been a hell of a drive.
Mm. I need to get punted off on turn 1 more often.
He might disagree with you on that, but he certainly can't argue with the end result, or what looks to be the end result.
Mm.
I think if you had said to him when he was sitting off on the side of the track at that point, "Don't worry, mate, you'll still be leading with 3 laps to go," he might have been laughing hysterically at you.
Chassis looking very composed. Like McDonald's looking very settled as well.
Yeah, so has the gap got bigger from chassis, or is Zach just sort of settled down and going, well, you know what? It's going to take something special from here, and let's just keep it on the track and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think there's been a bit of that going on. Warren Davis has pulled out a little bit from Damien Johnstone. Well,
But hasn't managed to catch up with Christian, so
no, hasn't managed to get under the back of Christian, so
that's probably the one downside to the smaller field as well. They have had a little bit more lap traffic that could have influenced things, giving you a little bit more drag down the straight and various things like that. So whilst it's nice not to have to deal with some of that stuff, sometimes you actually want it.
that's exactly right. You need that to help you out. It's like you might need a safety car to close it up. But Christian Smart definitely well ahead of Davis at the moment. I can't see that battle closing up anymore. Damien Johnstone with a good recovery back to 5th after the drive-through penalty early on.
Yep. He'd probably be looking back going, geez, if I'd done things a little differently in turn 1.
They'd definitely be thinking that.
Cracker drive though, anyway, you look at it.
Absolutely. course, for those watching along, just put Season 6 entry form into Facebook and YouTube chat. Feel free to jump in, join the series. We have a good competitive field, ranging from all experiences. Of course, one of the unique things about the East Coast series, it's a no aids series, so you can't run auto clutch and the rest of those sorts of things. Means you've got to drive the car. And it's a great competitive series for getting ourselves up and running.
Definitely the sort of series where if you're looking to take it a little bit more seriously, and venture into some of the bigger and more known series, then this is an awesome entry into it. And it's getting big enough now that you can sort of do your thing here quite comfortably as well as racing those. So it's not just a do it, get out, go somewhere else. The series itself has its own merits. So
Absolutely, definitely got plenty of merit to how it goes about. The battle continues on lap 43, the penultimate lap. It's bloke James Chastaneuf, absolutely sensational drive. Going to get some good points out of this one to help his championship series, particularly with a few missing.
he's had the thing on rails for the last 10 laps.
Yes, it's driven it really well.
Certainly not Melbourne Metro rails because he's actually in front.
He's on time.
Yeah, not something we experience here that often.
Doing relatively good. Zach McDonald still in second, only 7 seconds back. The vortex of a 14-second gap between Chasty and Christian Smart in third. Great drive from Christian, up 4 spots. Doing really well. Great to see Christian Smart name on the podium. Warren Davis going to bring it home in 4th at this stage. He's doing really well as that. And then, of course, Paul Young, Damien Johnstone, Paul Young, Jamie McKnight. So great drive from all of the boys. As ducking through the Dunlop chicane for the last time, James Chastaneuf comes up through the 13th corner. Turn 13th, they call it. Way round. Heading up into the final corner, known as Panasonic. And
one more marker, one more.
Got to get round the corner. Foot on the accelerator.
Tail stay straight, you're happy.
That is an exceptional drive.
Well done, James.
Exceptional drive, Chasty. Proud of yourself for that one, mate. And of course, the other guy, really impressive tonight. Got himself on the 2nd spot on the grid. He's going to bring it home in P2. Zach McDonald, the young gun from 9.5 Sim Sports.
Another awesome drive.
Yep.
Actually, it's hard to really pinpoint anybody that outside of lap 1 didn't
Smart.
drive well.
Warren Davis is going to bring home in 4th. Damien Johnstone battles himself back to 5th. Paul Young, he's going to make a recovery after being backwards on the start, on turn 1 after the start. Going to bring it home. Of course, People's Champion, Jamie McKnight. Great to have him still racing with us. The great characters of the iRacing scene in Australia, young Jamie. Always up for a chat. And knows knows what's what in iRacing.
It's never a quiet server when Jamie's in it.
Nah, it's never that.
But he's always quick with a few words of wisdom as well. So
Yeah. Yes, definitely one of the stalwarts of
can't
vets.
ask for much more than that.
One of the most winningest drivers in vets. Young Jamie.
Yeah, yeah.
So, of course, next week the boys are racing at Sebring. It should be a good
That's
little
a
battle.
fun track to drive at.
It should be a great little battle there. I'm assuming we're going to probably have a few drivers back after Scops being this week. Looking forward to that. Of course, as I said before, season 6 entry forms are out at the moment. I've chucked them up in the chat. If anyone watching the broadcast hasn't signed up yet, get in there and have a crack. We just need to get all their entries in so we can get the season up and running next season. As the
Good job,
season
Christian. I
starts,
got a slope.
starts to come to the end. And of course, we're looking at a great battle. I think based off points tonight, I think Chastity will jump up the board a fair way, and I think Damien Johnstone might shuffle down a little bit. So I'll have the championship points up next week. Of course, we'll be back at the same time. We'll wait a little bit longer to see if anyone jumps in the green room.
I'm sure there's bound to be somebody that'll jump in here.
Yeah, probably there is.
There you go.
Here we go. Chastity.
The winner himself.
Chastity, what a drive, mate.
What
Yeah,
a-
thanks. Yeah, I guess just don't give up and just drive your best, I suppose. Make the best of a bad situation.
Yeah,
the
you
race is never over till it's over.
definitely put the visor down and kept going, which was great to see. How much fuel did you start with? Because that's the interesting one, because from what we can gather, you sort of had an 8 and a 9-second stop for your two fuel stops.
Yeah, I started off with just the full tank.
Full
so
tank,
just
yeah.
to save as much time as you can in the pits, that's pretty usual. Yeah, it's not really a change from anything else. And then I just filled the tank up till I had about like 18 left to fill for the second one, because I know the next tyre stop's just going to be about 18 laps. So, 18 litres for just to cover the time of the tyres. So, yeah, just did that, and then on the last stop, the fuel and the tyres sort of finish at the same time, and then you just sort of go. So
Yeah.
the only real difference was taking that risk just to pit a bit early. So once I caught up to the back of Paul pitted, and then I was behind Chris Miller. So I was like, oh well, no point battling too hard with him. I'll just pit now and just see where I sort of end up.
Yeah,
It was a big move. It was one that I said to John earlier in the broadcast that could pay big dividends for you. So well done, mate.
Yeah, I guess when you're at the back, you don't really have too much to lose. So you just go for the sort of bolder strategy, and yeah, no, it seemed to work out. So that's not very frequent that sort of happens. So I guess I'll just take it tonight.
You take the good with the bad, mate.
That's it.
and we'll have a quick chat to our second place man, Zach McDonald. Great drive, Zach. You came out after that second stop. You weren't too far behind. You thought you were a chance of catching Chastity?
Yeah, and then stuffed up pit exit. And it was gone.
Gone? Yep.
One of those nights.
Yep.
And also in third place, good friend of ours, Christian Smart. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Well done, Christian.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Nice to have you back on the podium. You had a good tussle with Jamie early on.
Yeah, I did. First of all, I'd like to thank all my teammates for not racing against me tonight.
Yes, a few names were noted of not being here.
Yeah, I'll thank them too.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'd also like to say congrats to James and Zach for putting on a great battle there. I had no chance of catching those guys. They were too quick for me tonight. And Warren for putting on a great battle there with me as well.
Yeah, no, some good drives all around in the group. Very entertaining to watch. Even got a little bit of drama on lap one. So been a good broadcast. And might just start with you, Christian, and let you give a shout out to your sponsors.
Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast there. You do a great job there, Reg and John. Congrats to you. WK&P. Put on a good show. Like to thank all my teammates and Jamie there, Damo. You've got Jay Ross. I could go on for hours here. As you know, I have done before. It's been a long time since I've been here, so I'm not going to do too good. You know that, don't you?
Just enjoy the moment, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks. Smith & Sons, DR Epoxy, DGD Customs, Australian Laminating Company, DM Cinematography, Dave Oliver Photo, Positives Mechanical. It's a Dog's Life Quality, Dog Kennels, JK Signs, Newline, 88 Media, Aftershock PC, West End Mazda, Too Easy Finance, Quantum. Yeah, there you go.
Wave
You
Runner.
have to have that on a whiteboard.
Wave Runner. You forgot Wave Runner.
Yeah, Wave Runner Performance Centre, J Ross, yeah. Hey, I haven't finished yet. Hang on. Nah, look, all good.
Well, I've heard it that many times before. I know it off by heart.
I know, mate. Yeah, no, well done to everyone else at races, and yeah, you guys for putting on a great show. Thanks.
Thanks, Christian. And Zach, mate, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I just want to thank Racecraft, Turn In Race Appeal, RSW Graphics Racing News, Cutting Edge Tracks, RV Media, and FU Suicide.
Cool, mate. And just a quick question we did ask earlier in the broadcast. Did you have a spotter?
No.
No, cool. Yeah,
Well,
did very
did
well.
well.
Did very well. And of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the race winner, James Chastanoof. You want to give a shout out to, mate?
Yeah, so shout out to all the Banter Alliance boys for racing. Give us the support, all my chat in the stream, cheering me on, especially when I was down and out and everyone thought it was going to be just a puddle around. And thanks to our new sponsors, VFS, Frosty's Kitchen, Ryko DBA, Burson's Auto Parts, and Locked On iRacing Podcast.
Too easy. Well done again on your win, mate.
Yep.
And on that note, boys, thoughts about next week at Sebring?
We'll see, I suppose.
Yeah, just take it as it comes. Like tonight, just came a little bit unprepared, but yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And on that note, we might close the broadcast. So big thank you to Reg jumping in. Big shout out to Mark Duggan, of course, who has been having quite a few furious words sent to me this evening as he's been battling a headset issue. He's basically flown in from his holidays and rode straight to the rig to jump on the broadcast tonight with me. And the all the updates and stuff, he's got some gear not working, so he's not a happy camper. Hopefully, I told him to go sleep his jet lag off, and he'll feel better tomorrow when he solves it. So big shout out to Mark. Be back with us next week. And Reg for jumping in. Of course, the boys in race control. The drivers as well. Big thank you to all of those guys that jumped on, particularly the guys that raced tonight. And hopefully we'll see everybody again next week.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first